He's a doting dad who worked endlessly to support his family.
At least you're paying attention.
She's a young mom with dreams of becoming a famous influencer.
Hey guys, I was asked to do a video 15 weird things about me. So, number 1.
But when the young couple finds themselves the victims of a terrifying home invasion, it sparks a dark conspiracy which proves fatal.
They had black masks on, black shirts, black pants. Every inch of skin was covered.
It exposes a dark conspiracy which proves fatal.
We may have our problems, but I would never put it through this.
I'm Elizabeth Millner, and thanks for joining us on this episode of Female Criminals. Our story begins in Titus County, Texas, which is nestled deep in the heart of East Texas. For Samantha Wohlford and Ernie Ibarra, it's the backdrop to a budding romance.
Wow.
Not gonna light a cigarette?
Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
Because you got that iPad in your hands.
Where?
At least you're paying attention. But only because it's a hilarious episode.
What?
Yeah!
What episode is this?
4.
Ernest Lee Ibarra Jr., better known as Ernie, was born on Christmas Day in 1985. Growing up, he had a love of reading, but as technology advanced, Ernie's attention turns to computers, to the point he could do his own repairs. In 2008, he meets Samantha Wohlford. Samantha is already a young mom by the time she meets Ernie. She has 2 children, a pair of twins she shares with a boyfriend from high school. Then 3 years after meeting Ernie, the two welcome Samantha's second set of twins. Their family would grow even bigger when Samantha gets pregnant again in 2013 with baby number 5.
I've decided to do a, pregnancy vlog. I took a pregnancy test last night and it came back. I couldn't tell whether it was positive or negative. The marks on it was so light. I honestly thought it was negative. Right now is not a good time for me to be pregnant. Not to mention I was taking birth control. So I didn't think it could be positive. But it freaked me out nonetheless. And I had a few people look at it and they couldn't tell either if it was positive or negative.
Ernie works 2 jobs to support their growing family. But Samantha hopes by starting a YouTube channel, she can help generate some extra cash.
Hey guys, I am at a tattoo convention and I'm going to get a dermal anchor piercing in my chest. I'm freaking out, and so I'm going to show you guys how this ends up. I'm going to let you guys see my piercing.
Totally slacked off on my pregnancy vlog. Yeah, I'm still smoking. I know that's horrible, but I don't smoke often. I've got a, wherever it's at. I have one of those e-cig things that I smoke on most of the time. It's a real treat when I actually get a regular cigarette. I'm trying. But my doctor agrees that I've got too many stresses in my life to completely quit cold turkey. The fact that I've cut back to maybe 3-4 cigarettes a day is good, but he doesn't want me to completely quit because as much stress as I have, I may end up sending myself into labor having absolutely no vices. I don't play video games very often. I don't go out. I don't vent to friends. I don't have any vices.
It's a troubling video to see, but Samantha welcomes her 5th child, a baby girl.
Good morning, YouTubers. It's been a while, but my friend gave me a wonderful idea, so I'm going to maximize on it and change it. She wanted to have tips and pointers on how I get through life, so I figured I could do like a daily tip on maximizing your time and making things go smoother.
Now a family of 7, cracks begin to appear in Samantha and Ernie's relationship. Ernie loves to play video games. However, his gaming habits spark many arguments between him and Samantha. One particular argument centered around Ernie's gaming avatar marrying another woman's gaming character. For Samantha, this virtual bride seems to really cross a line. To make up for it, Ernie agrees to a big gesture to show his love for Samantha. In 2014, the two stood across from each other in real life and said, "I do." But their time as husband and wife would be short-lived because trouble was right around the corner. It's now the early morning hours of February 20th, 2015. Ernie and Samantha are at home sleeping in their bed when suddenly 3 masked intruders enter their home.
So walk me through what happened.
I don't honestly know what happened. Okay. I was in bed asleep, and we heard a noise, and the second I was able to open my eyes, somebody grabbed me and jerked me out of the bed and slammed me down on the ground and started tying me up and put a knife to my throat and told me don't move.
Okay.
They were punching me over and over and over, and because he was fighting back, and I was just letting him do it. And
what's your husband's name?
Ernest Ibarra.
Ernest Ibarra? Okay.
When deputies respond to the couple's home, the children are all asleep, but Ernie is missing, taken in the middle of the night by the intruders.
They had black masks on, black shirts, black pants. Every inch of skin was covered, like gloves. I couldn't see anything. One of them did say the name Luke, but that's it. That was all. That's only in identifying anything of God. One of them said, "Hey, Luke," and the guy turned, but that's the only identifying anything of God.
522 County.
Then when they dragged me downstairs, because they had him downstairs and they were separating us, I went downstairs and his face was covered in blood. And he had cuts on top of his head.
Do you know what they were hitting him with?
A gun.
Okay, do you remember what the gun looked like?
It was just a hand pistol. I didn't focus on the gun. I was focused on him.
Do you remember what colors, anything like that?
It's a black gun.
Okay. Alright. And y'all were upstairs?
Asleep.
Okay. Are you doing okay? Do you need medical attention or anything?
He just slapped me in the face. If it's not bruised up, I mean.
Yeah. Okay. You got some redness on your face.
He said, "Look at her," and he wouldn't look up at me.
How's the babies?
They're all in bed asleep. They never mess with the kids. Okay. And then he asked him, "How are my kids? Where are my kids?" He said, he punched him in the mouth with the gun and said, "I ain't here for no kids, mother." And I think they might have knocked a couple of his teeth out. Okay. And they jerked his hair up and said, "Look at her, look at her." And I had my head pulled back. And he looked at me and he said, "That's the last time you're gonna see her. And do you want us to kill her too?"
Hey, is there somebody that can go with Coop? Yeah, is there somebody?
I never saw a vehicle. I don't know what type of vehicle they're in.
Yeah.
How many people are there?
He's here
Three,
with me.
maybe four.
Maybe 4.
If he'll go up that way with Cooper just in case.
Like I said, I couldn't tell anything about him. I know there was a lot of them here. 3, maybe 4. I could be wrong. There might have been more in the vehicle.
Did you hear any shots or anything like that?
No, I heard some commotion outside. And I know they were doing something in my house because I could hear breaking, but...
Samantha tells deputies she's able to free herself, and that's how she called for help. Though her call wasn't to 911, it was to her mom, which raises some eyebrows.
Tied me up and threw me over here. She helped untie me.
How did she find out that you were
Because they took his phone, but they didn't take mine. I had mine hidden. So I was able to...
So he's got his phone?
No, they have his phone.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. What's his phone number?
I don't know.
You don't know? Do you got it stored in your phone?
Yes.
Okay,
It's
look
a
that.
newish number.
Look.
My aunt has my phone.
Huh? Well, I need that number. Get that number from her. So y'all were in the bed here.
Asleep. I was on that side. He was on this side.
526, 522.
They told him to take his ring off. I heard him
Go
yell at
ahead.
him to take his wedding ring off.
We get a better description of any of the subjects or maybe a possible vehicle.
I had no idea. I was tied up upstairs.
Negative. She's just saying it's multiple subjects wearing all black.
I fucking scared ass. Is the fact that I don't know his vehicle gonna possibly cost his life?
Hey, look up that number for me, okay?
Did you hear him say anything else besides what you told us?
They said that it was because of his dad. And that
Because of his dad?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that if he could come up with $20,000 in 5 minutes, they'd spare his life. And he said he couldn't get his hands on that kind of money. And
do you know what was going on
I
with the dad?
I have no had
No,
anything
no
to
idea.
do with his dad since me and him had our last problem.
Okay.
They said his dad narked on someone and got their man thrown behind bars. And now they were taking revenge and taking someone from him. He took someone from them, and now they're taking someone from him.
Okay.
And he said that it wasn't anything against me or the kids because we're only Ibarra by marriage. He's Ibarra by blood. And they took his ID and his wallet.
Where was that at?
It was in his truck.
Oh, it was in his truck? Okay.
Yeah, they made him tell him. I'm upstairs. I could hear him telling him. They made him tell him they cut my shirt off, and then after they made me stand there naked in front of him, threatening to do things to me. The guy said, "I can't do."
You were outside or here inside?
I was in the living room.
The living room?
When they took me to the living room, he said, "Get you a shirt and get it quick, because I'm not this type of person." So I started rummaging through my closet. He said, "I said get it quick," and pushed the knife against my throat. So I just grabbed whatever shirt
Okay.
and put it on.
Okay.
But he grabbed my shirt and he started cutting it and cut it down the collar, and then he said,
What's your name?
"Samantha
Samantha
Wohlford.
Wohlford."
Wohlford.
Where's that shirt at? Is it downstairs? What color is it?
It's gray sweater.
Gray sweater?
It's now a race against the clock. Investigators are on their way to Ernie's dad's home to see if Samantha's father-in-law has been targeted too. Samantha then shares one detail that immediately stands out. Ernie may still have his phone, and that could change everything.
Hey, alright, this is what we need to do. I need to do an emergency phone ping on, yeah, and I've got the cell phone number. Also, Baxter's en route with Cooper, so tell 33 whatever that 512's en route with 26 and he can 1022. But just go ahead and tell him that on the radio for me. It's an emergency because of possible, if they ask, his life's in danger possibly, so we need to ping his phone.
While examining the home for any clues, another unsettling realization starts to sink in.
I'm not really seeing a whole lot of blood though for somebody that was pistol whipped.
I was looking upstairs on the carpet, nothing on the walls. So I want to make sure this was staged. Staged deal, or the scene's not really making sense with what she's telling me.
No, that's what. You know, I was expecting to see like more blood and. Because, I mean, she's saying he got hit several times, pistol whipped or whatever, several times. With a black pistol is all she knows. Everybody's wearing all black shoes, no identifying marks on them.
But you have no idea why somebody would have done this to her?
No, there was nothing out of the norm as far as I was aware. I mean, he was coming home late every day. I just immediately jumped to the conclusion of cheating, like he's starting to cheat. He doesn't have very many friends, so I don't foresee this just being a prank. After everything that happened previously, he kind of dropped all of his friends and really has nothing to do with anyone. Are you guys trying to accuse me of something?
No, not right now. We're just trying to get all the details of everything that happened.
Well, he's asking if anybody's called me and want to look at my call list.
What, I mean, you're saying that somebody called and, or somebody saying something about money or something like that, so.
I don't know these people. I'm pretty good at recognizing voices, and I didn't recognize theirs.
With Ernie nowhere to be found, deputies bring in Samantha for questioning, hoping her story might provide the breakthrough that they desperately need.
What's your first memory of what's going on?
Well, I took an Ambien, so it makes it a little harder for me to wake up. And I have a prescription with me if you want to see that. But when I can't sleep, it's supposed to shut your brain down so you can go to sleep, but also make it to where you can wake up fairly easy. Of course. I remember at some point it was a little after 1. I saw the clock. Maybe on my phone. So it's still pretty foggy because it's fairly early to wake up after taking a sleeping pill. Somebody jerking the blankets down, which startled me. And then something being pressed against my throat, and they grabbed me by the hair and started jerking me out of bed. I, at that point, wasn't even aware of what was going on with him until he already had me slammed face down on the ground and was tying my hands together. And I rolled my head and looked to the side and could see some commotion going on, but it was pitch black in my room. And they were all wearing black.
And were they saying anything or doing anything when they came into the room? I mean, dragging on, what were they saying or what were they?
And the guy that was, it was all guys. I don't remember hearing a female voice. And to me, just a bunch of shut up, don't make any noise, don't make me have to hurt you, blah, 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 and hold still, hold your hands together. And I was trying to be as cooperative as possible because I didn't want to die. I'll do whatever you say, just please don't kill me, I've got kids.
So when they drag you out of bed, what happens at that point once they drag you out of bed?
Drag me to the bed and slam me down on the floor face down and press the blade that he had against my throat in between my shoulder blades. And while he's tying my hands, there's a bunch of fighting going on, but I can't tell who's who or what's going on, just that there's other commotion going on, so I knew that they got him woke up. And then somebody that was dealing with him said, get here, get out of here. And that's when he dragged me over, not far from the kids' bedroom. And I was praying to God, they never went over there and realized there was any kids in the house. They didn't tie my legs together until right before they left me there. Right before I had to wobble over to get my phone. Because they were forcing me to walk and things on my own and just helping me steady myself because I couldn't catch myself. My hands were tied behind my back. My mouth was tied. I'm surprised it didn't split my mouth. It was tied so tight.
But you didn't recognize the voice?
I didn't. I tried listening to everything. They forced him to tell me not to call the police. And he said, don't call the police. And they punched him in the mouth with the gun. And said, that's not what I said for you to tell her. He said, please tell me what to say again. Please just repeat it. So they repeated it and I couldn't understand what they were saying because they were so close to his face and growling in his ear. And he said, Sam, don't call the police. I don't care what happens. Don't call the police because they'll come back and they'll kill all the kids.
With Samantha's story unraveling, investigators are unwilling to accept anything she says at face value.
Part of the procedure also, like I said, we're going to be, checking your phone records for the last few months. We're going to find any kind of, establish anything as far as anybody that's involved in this and connected to your phone?
No.
Okay. You're sure about that?
Yeah, I would recognize a voice that I knew.
No, I'm talking about as far as you being involved in your husband's experience.
No.
So you had absolutely nothing to do with this?
No, I had absolutely nothing to do with this. I would not be this cooperative if I did.
Okay. Well, just because the person cooperated doesn't mean they didn't do something. Obviously, if someone wants to throw us off.
Have I thought about it? Have I thought about stabbing him? Oh, more than once. Have I thought about shooting him if I had a gun? The thought is, and I'm not going to say the thought hasn't crossed my mind. He's had me to the point that I wanted to keep his ass.
And that's what happened last night?
No.
He didn't have you to the point last night?
No. We were not fighting at all.
So what would get you to the point where you want to shoot him or stab him?
To see him lay his hands on my kids.
When's the last time you did that?
Back when I had him arrested.
In 2014, Samantha had a restraining order placed on Ernie after accusing him of attacking her. Prosecutors would later confirm he was brought in for questioning and ultimately arrested.
But as far as tonight, you had nothing to do with
No.
this experience? You don't know who did anything?
No.
You're positive about that?
Yes.
See, look me in the face. I need to know the truth. Did you have anything to do with Ernie's disappearance?
No. And I
Did you have anything to do with his death tonight?
No. Death?
He's dead?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out.
Because if he is dead, no.
Do you think he's alive?
I hope so.
Did you have anything to do with it?
No.
You had nothing to do with his disappearance? Nothing, if God forbid he is found deceased, did you have anything to do with it?
No.
Did you hire someone to do it?
No.
You had nothing, absolutely nothing to do with it?
Absolutely nothing. And I've heard it to God that they're just like holding him to get at his dad. Yeah, I really, really don't want to have to plan a funeral for my husband.
Samantha isn't off the hook yet. She's grilled for hours.
Well, let me ask you something. How did you call for help if you was tied up?
I used my nose.
So they didn't take your phone then? They left your phone there?
They asked me if I had a phone, and I told them no. And they asked him,
So
and I
how'd you
told
get
him
to
no.
it? How'd you get to it?
I wiggled on my side.
Where was it?
across the
Where
room.
was
I
it?
was on this side of the upstairs, and it was shoved up underneath the edge of the bed on this side of the upstairs.
Is that where you keep it, or did you do that during a fight?
No, it fell off the bed. When they grabbed a hold of me, I felt it slide, because I usually keep it under
So
my
why didn't you
pillow.
wake your kids up? Why didn't you go there and hit them and get them up? How old are your kids?
7, 3, and 1, and I was terrified that with what they were putting me and their parent, me and their dad through.
Because
I didn't
I would
want
think
them
you'd wake them
hurt.
up and get them to untie you and call 911. Who did you call?
My mother was the first number on my call list. I just used my face. And
So instead of calling 911 for help, you called your mother?
how do you press 911 with your face?
Well, how did you dial your mother with your face?
I didn't dial my mother. I just pushed the first thing that was on there. It had just happened to be my mom.
Well, so you pushed it?
Yeah, I just pushed my face against the phone. And that's the number it picked. I didn't try any particular one. I was just trying to call anyone.
Oh, okay. So you didn't mean to call your mama?
No, I was just calling anybody.
See, 'cause I don't understand why you wake your 7-year-old up and say, hey, call 911, we got help. See, that's what I'm saying. Little things like this is what really, really looks odd. So you wouldn't have a problem then doing a polygraph this morning?
Would you mind me speaking to my mother before I completely agree to that?
Well, but now if you have nothing to hide, why would you want to talk to your mama?
Because it's nothing against you personally, but just cops in general, you hear such negative things and how they are not out to help you, and CPS is the same way, and I just kind of want to get my mom and dad's opinion on if it's in my best interest. I don't have anything to hide, and I personally don't have a problem doing that, but I don't want to do something that's going to end up biting me in the ass in the end either. I kind of want my parents.
Well, you know what? You know what I think? I think it's not going to be long. I think they're locking your butt up, what I think. I think you've been lying to me this whole time. You did get them right. I think you're a liar, what I think. I think you know exactly who did this, and I don't buy your freaking story for a minute. That's what I think.
As the questioning intensifies, soon a new name catches the detective's attention.
I think you know exactly who did this, and I think you're scared. And that's what I'm trying to beat into your head. Don't let fear keep you from telling the truth. Because just if you knew these guys that did it, you know why they did it, does not make you guilty. But what's going to make you guilty is when we prove that you lied to us in here.
But if that is the case, then I do know who did it and why they did it.
Okay.
Doesn't that make me like an accomplice?
Nope, you sure don't. No, that makes you a scared mother with children. That's exactly what that makes you.
The only other thing.
Okay, see, I knew. You know, Sam, you know I'm not here lying to you. You know I know.
The only other thing I know, and I don't even know if I know,
Okay.
but it's a suspicion.
Okay.
I've been up in the hospital with my friend Charlotte.
Okay.
And she's got a guy there, and I swear to God, I cannot go up there that I said any of this.
Okay.
Because they have a lot of friends around here, and my life will be in a lot of danger.
Okay.
But the only other thing I know is venting to her and talking to her about problems. Like I just told you, I have a problem with talking to my friends about our problems.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have many of them. So when I do get with one of my friends, I want to talk about any problems we might have had. And honestly, lately, it hasn't been many.
Okay.
We have had problems in the house, and I haven't seen Charlotte in a long time.
Okay, come on with it.
And she's got this guy in the room with her, and he gets to talking about how a man shouldn't treat a woman that way, and how you don't do those things to a person, and he's gonna deal with the situation. I didn't take him seriously.
Okay, you see, Sam, you know who did this. But that does not make you guilty.
But I don't have any proof that he did. I just have what he said.
Okay, who is this guy?
His name's John.
Officials say the John, or John Rebel she's referring to, is a man named Jonathan Sanford. When he and Samantha met, he actually just finished a bit in prison for burglary and indecency with a child.
So if he did this, who do you think he'd bring with him?
I don't know any of his friends. But yesterday at the hospital, he had a guy that I do know from town with him. His name is Tay.
Who?
Tay Rhymes.
Tay?
Tay. He's black.
Tay Rhymes, he's a black male?
Yes.
Okay, you had him with him? Where's he from?
I didn't say yes, he had him at the hospital with him. I cannot guarantee that these are the right people.
But you know what?
I know that
you know in your heart, Sam. You know this guy did it. You know he did it, and here's the thing.
But why? Unless he's got serious psychological issues, why?
Well, what did you say? What did you say when he said he's going to take care of the problem?
I just laughed at him. I thought he was joking. There was another person there.
Who was there?
But I don't know. I swear to God, I don't know. I know that he has a lot of people he calls his brother, and I only know this guy.
And you think they came over there and did this just simply because he was mean to you?
I don't know.
Or was there a bad dope deal? Was there a dope deal?
I don't know. I don't know. Honest to God, I don't know.
But you, in your
I know
heart,
that my husband has had a lot of time.
But in your heart, you think this is him?
Yes.
You're positive he did it?
I'm not positive. I can't be positive because I didn't see any faces.
Well, but then what makes you think it was him?
Just by the way he said it, even though I laughed him off, he sat back with this.
Now, in your house,
criminal,
what made you think this was him while you was in your house?
Because the height, and there was a guy built like Jeremy there. There was. That is the truth. That is the truth. John is skinny, tall and skinny. He's got a very bad record. There was a tall, skinny guy there.
John Rebel?
Yes.
You don't know his name?
No.
But
John.
But
She
Sheila.
told me his last name.
Charlotte Morris knows him though.
Yes.
Okay.
He lives with her.
We'll find him. If you get the right, we'll find him.
Please don't let this come back on me. I don't want it.
I'm gonna tell you right now. The only way we can guarantee that is if you point your finger and know he did, so we can go arrest him and we won't let him out of jail and he can't come get you.
I don't want anybody to come in.
Well, then you better start facing up.
Because they did make it clear that if I called the police, they would kill my kid.
Since Samantha witnessed 3 intruders, the attention now turns to Jonathan and his friends.
Oh, the only thing I know about the heavyset dude is they called him JoJo, but they told me that wasn't his name. They said I believe they said it was Jose, but I don't know anything about the other guy at all. But
well,
he's very scary looking.
I'm hoping if they just took him out and beat the crap out of him, that he's still alive.
He is a very scary looking guy, the third guy.
But you don't know who he is?
No.
You don't know his name?
No, they kept calling him JoJo. And I asked John what his name was, and he said Jose. But that's all I know about that guy. That's all I know. That, and he is scary looking.
So I go in there and say, there's a black male in there with John, I can go in there and say, hey, there's John, there's Tay, where's JoJo? And they're going to know exactly who I'm talking about. That's what they call him, is JoJo.
Yes, that's what everybody calls him, is JoJo.
Detectives confirmed the real names of JoJo and Tay. JoJo's real name is Jose Ponce. Tay's real name is Octavius Rhymes. Both were recruited by Jonathan. They originally intended to plant meth in Ernie's truck to set him up for a drug bust. However, the group, including Samantha, believed murder would be easier. At this point in the interrogation, Samantha appears unsure if her husband is dead or alive.
One of the things we need to also realize, we don't know for sure if he's alive or dead at this point. We're still trying to find him. But for instance, if we do happen to find him and he is deceased, they do an autopsy, they're going to be able to tell us what the time of death is. So I need to make sure that the time frames that you're telling me when these guys busted in your house.
The time I gave you is exact.
Okay. Because I don't want to say, oh, well, there's probably
Everything I wrote in
summertime
that
this,
statement,
or
everything I wrote in that previous statement is the truth.
I just want to make sure that the medical, you know,
It's
if
just-
if he's found dead, which we hope to God and pray that we find him alive, but if they're, for some reason, they did take it too far and hurt him really bad, I don't want to come back and the medical examiner say, you know, the time of death was somewhere around 8:30, 9 o'clock, you know, and then you're not
going to be able
telling,
to see him before they take him back to do an autopsy.
I don't know, like, we got to find him first. That's what we're trying to do, but when you weren't being honest with us and telling us who these guys were that came in there and took him, we wasted a lot of valuable time. And here it is, almost 10 o'clock, and we've been at your house since 2:30, and you know, you're just now coming clean with us as who the guys were that came in the house and took him. You know, that's, you know, 7 hours that we've wasted that we could be trying to find him.
She waits for any news about her husband, but Samantha's behavior while left unattended in the interview room leaves some scratching their heads. Here we see her drawing hearts on the whiteboard. A little more than a minute later, she appears to start jotting names down before erasing them off the board. Less than 10 minutes later, she writes, "Hello, my love. Then, I need you, honey." In her final writing, a message that seems directed at investigators, she writes, "Have you found my husband?" But court documents reveal Samantha knew all along what happened to her husband. Detectives find messages Samantha sent to Octavius Rhymes while police were searching for Ernie's phone. One particular message reads, "Kill phone, shut that down, ditch phone, move." The Titus County Sheriff's Office says Samantha tells them the suspects had been driving her own Chevy Equinox, a detail she withheld for hours into the investigation. Deputies locate and arrest Jonathan Sanford and Jose Ponce right as they were leaving the Titus County Regional Hospital, while Octavius Rhymes is arrested nearly a week later on February 26 of 2015. What the suspects reveal to investigators is their worst nightmare. There was no saving Ernie. Through the information they gathered, investigators learned Ernie was taken to a remote location southeast of Lone Star Steel Mill in Camp County, Texas. He was taken to the woods and executed. Investigators say it was Jose Ponce who pulled the trigger, and the shot entered the back of Ernie's head. But all the suspects, including Jose Ponce, Octavius Rhymes, Jonathan Sanford, and Samantha Wohlford, are charged with murder and kidnapping. Jonathan and Jose would never face a jury of their peers. Both pled guilty to murder and kidnapping and are each handed down a 50-year sentence. However, Octavius rolls the dice and takes the case to trial. He's convicted of aggravated kidnapping and receives a 23-year sentence, plus 75 years for the murder charge. Samantha also takes her chance with the jury. Will it pay off? On September 14th of 2017, more than 2 years after Ernie's murder, Samantha Wohlford is found guilty of murder and kidnapping. She receives the harshest sentence of the group, 99 years in prison. According to the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, Octavius Rhymes will be eligible for parole in August of 2026. Jonathan Sanford, Jose Ponce, and Samantha Wohlford will be eligible for parole in 2040. Samantha Wohlford is serving her sentence in a prison in Gatesville, Texas. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Female Criminals. I'm Elizabeth Millner, and we'll see you back here next time for another case.